The shattering of peace at home. I had always thought of myself as a calm, patient woman. I am over 60 now, retired. My greatest treasure in life is my granddaughter, Lily. Her laughter gave meaning to my days. Each morning began with the sound of her tiny footsteps and her cheerful, "Good morning, Grandma." And then there was my daughter, Sarah, my only child. Once she was a bright young woman with high hopes and a shining future. But life's hardships, her husband leaving, financial struggles, seemed to harden her heart. She looked less like a mother raising her child and more like a weary woman beaten down by fate. At first, everything seemed normal. Sarah went to work, Lily attended kindergarten. In the evenings we gathered at home for dinner, sometimes watching TV together. But gradually, the air in our home grew heavier. Casual words turned into quarrels, and laughter was replaced by heavy silence. Sarah's change. At first, I thought, it's just stress. Sarah's job was demanding. Numbers, deadlines, a strict boss. It seemed only natural she came home tired and irritable. But day by day, her temper sharpened, her behavior grew colder. One evening in the kitchen, Lily accidentally spilled some milk on the table. A small, harmless mistake. But Sarah's reaction startled me. "You can't do anything right," she shouted. "You can't even manage something this simple?" Lily's eyes welled up with tears, her tiny body trembling. I tried to defend her. "Sarah, she's just a little girl. These things happen," I said gently. But my daughter, still fuming, snapped back, "And there you go again. Always defending her. She'll never learn discipline this way." She stormed out, leaving me shaken. From that moment, a seed of doubt was planted in my heart. This was my daughter, but the harshness she showed toward Lily felt foreign, like a stranger had taken her place. Invisible wounds. Weeks passed. One day, after Lily came back from kindergarten, I noticed a bruise on her wrist as she was washing her hands. My heart sank. "Where did you get this, my dear?" I asked softly. She lowered her head and whispered, "Mom got angry." Her words cut me in two. I could hardly believe it. My own daughter hurting her child? But the bruise spoke louder than anything else. That night, I couldn't sleep. On one side was Sarah, my own blood. On the other side, Lily, my innocent little angel. Whom should I protect? Whom should I choose? Inner turmoil. Sometimes Sarah began confronting me directly. "Are you watching me all the time? I know how to raise my own child," she snapped once. I said nothing, though inside me a storm raged. Her idea of raising meant shouting, punishing, instilling fear. Some nights I heard Lily crying into her pillow. When I went to comfort her, she would whisper, "Grandma, doesn't Mom love me?" Each time I heard that question, my heart split in two. The breaking point. One day, the situation reached its peak. Sarah came home from work furious. Dinner wasn't ready, and she immediately lashed out at Lily. "Why didn't you help Grandma? You're useless," she shouted. I stepped in to defend her. "Sarah, stop. She's still just a child." But Sarah turned her harsh gaze on me. "Stay out of it. She's my daughter." In that moment, I realized the peace in our home had truly shattered. With each tear that welled up in Lily's eyes, my heart bled. Yet at the same time, I was terrified of losing my daughter completely. I asked myself, as a mother, do I protect my daughter? Or as a grandmother, do I save my granddaughter? I still don't have the answer. But deep inside, I know, sooner or later, I'll have to make that choice. The truth in the shadows. Sometimes the heaviest truths do not come with a shout, but in a whisper. Lily's quiet words, "Mom got angry," still echo in my ears. No matter how hard I tried, I could not silence the suspicion gnawing at my heart. Marks that could not be hidden. One day, Lily came home from kindergarten, tired. As she was changing, I noticed a red mark across her back. "What is this?" I asked, my voice trembling. Startled, she gave the same answer as always. "It's nothing." Mom got angry again in that moment. Tears filled my eyes. My heart bled, though I kept my face calm, not wanting to frighten her further. I simply hugged her and stroked her hair. But inside, I made a decision. I could no longer stay silent. The first confrontation with Sarah. That evening, when Sarah came home from work, I called her into the kitchen. "Sarah, we need to talk," I said. She frowned. "What now? Do you want to criticize me again?" Holding myself steady, I answered. I saw the marks on Lily's body. "This isn't just anger anymore. You're hurting her." Sarah avoided my eyes. "You don't understand anything." She doesn't listen. "I am on my own, I do everything myself. If I am not strict, she'll never grow up to be a proper person." Her voice carried defensiveness, anger, and exhaustion all at once. But for me, one truth was clear: she was pouring her own weariness onto her child. "Sarah, discipline and violence are not the same thing. Your anger is wounding her soul," I said. She suddenly stood up. "Enough. You're always blaming me. And what about you? You just sit and watch, judging everything I do. She's my daughter." With that, she slammed the door and left. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sarah was my daughter, but she seemed unready for the weight of motherhood. And that weight was being carried by Lily. The silence of my grandchild. Some days, Lily stopped speaking altogether. She no longer asked, "Grandma, let's draw together." She just sat quietly. One evening, while I was reading her a fairy tale, she suddenly whispered, "Grandma, if Mom doesn't love me, you love me, right?" Tears spilled down my face. "My dear, you are the most precious thing. I will always love you." "Always," I told her. But deep down I realized something painful. A child needs a mother's love. No matter how much I tried as a grandmother, I could never replace what was missing from her mother. The secret revealed. One day, Lily whispered another confession. "Grandma, sometimes Mom locks me in my room. If I keep crying, she says, 'Be quiet, or the neighbors will hear.'" Her words froze my body with cold. My own daughter locking up her child? In that instant, my eyes were opened. This was no longer just anger. This was cruelty. The inner conflict. But what was I to do? Should I report my own daughter? If I did, she might turn away from me forever. If I stayed silent, my granddaughter's spirit might be broken beyond repair. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, who am I? A mother, or a grandmother? Which matters more? The answer was clear, but I could not yet bring myself to speak it. Not yet. The moment of choice. Some nights divide life into two parts, the before and the after. That night became exactly such a turning point in my life. The silence before the storm. By evening, the air in the house felt unbearably heavy. Sarah came home from work, seething with anger. The house was quiet. Lily was in her room, drawing. I was in the kitchen making tea. Then Sarah's voice cracked through the silence like lightning. "Lily. Come here." The crayon slipped from Lily's hand. I saw fear flash across her eyes. She looked at me, trembling. "Go on, my dear," I whispered softly. Her small steps dragged heavily as she walked toward her mother. Anger at its peak. In Sarah's hand was a piece of paper, Lily's drawing. A child's picture. A house, a son, a tree, but no mother. "What is this? Why am I not here?" Sarah shouted. Lily's lips quivered. I couldn't draw you," she stammered. In an instant, Sarah grabbed her by the shoulders and shook her violently. "You're embarrassing me. Do you hate me?" she screamed. Lily burst into tears. I jumped to my feet. "Sarah, stop. She's just a child. She's not to blame," I cried. But my daughter, consumed by rage, didn't listen. She dragged Lily into her room and slammed the door. From behind it, the sound of a child's sobs pierced the air. Something inside me broke. The decision. I picked up the phone, my fingers trembling. A voice inside me screamed, "She's your daughter. Will you betray her?" But another voice answered, "She's your granddaughter. If you don't protect her now, tomorrow might be too late." I dialed the number. Child Protective Services. My voice shook as I spoke. I am calling about my daughter. She's been hurting my granddaughter. She isn't safe. The voice on the other end took notes, asked questions. I answered them all, though my heart was bleeding. I spoke only the truth. The confrontation. Within half an hour, police and child welfare workers arrived at our door. Sarah was stunned. "What's happening?" she asked, confused. Through tears, I whispered. I called them. Her eyes widened in shock. You're my mother. How could you betray me?" she screamed. My voice trembled, but I forced the words out. "I didn't betray you. I protected Lily." Sarah wept, raged, tried to push past the officers, but they held her back. Lily came out of her room and ran straight into my arms. I hugged her tightly, feeling her small body trembling against me. In that moment, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. The life we once had was gone forever. Night thoughts. That night, the house felt hollow, as if emptied of its very soul. Sarah had been taken away for the investigation. The echoes of her shouting still lingered in every corner. Lily slept beside me, her hand clutching mine. Tears streamed silently down my face. One question tormented me. Am I a bad person? By reporting my own daughter, have I betrayed her as a mother? But a quieter voice whispered within me, "You are not a traitor. You are a shield." That night, I made my choice. A choice that tore my heart as a mother, but preserved it as a grandmother. Broken bridges. A silent house. From that day on, silence reigned in our home. Sarah was sent away for a while. The only sounds left were my heavy breaths and Lily's faint laughter. But even her laughter was not real, it was more like a shield against sorrow. Every corner still carried Sarah's presence. Her clothes in the closet, a half-finished cup of tea on the table, the faint perfume lingering in the bathroom. And yet she herself was gone. That emptiness mirrored the hollow inside my heart. The shadow of social services. In the days that followed, the social workers kept returning. They spoke to Lily, asked me endless questions. I felt as though even the walls were listening. Is Lily safe here now? Are you prepared to protect her? What is your relationship with Sarah like? Each question pierced me. To speak ill of my own daughter felt like stabbing my own heart. But I knew if I didn't tell the truth, I could not protect my granddaughter. The whispers of neighbors. In a small town, nothing stays hidden. Soon the neighbors knew. I could hear it in the way doors creaked differently, in the murmurs that followed me down the street. She reported her own daughter to child services. What kind of mother betrays her child? Their whispers gnawed at me. At night, I wept and asked myself, maybe I went too far? Maybe Sarah could have changed? But each time, Lily's terrified face rose before me, and I knew I had done what I must. Sarah's fury. Days later, Sarah called. Her voice was a storm of rage and grief. "You've destroyed my life. I trusted you, and you sold me out. I'll never forgive you." Her words were knives in my chest. Yet I did not fight back. I only whispered, "I love you, Sarah." But I had no choice but to protect Lily. She slammed the phone down. A private journal. That night, I wrote in my journal, "I am torn between being a mother and a grandmother. To my daughter, I am a traitor. To my granddaughter, I am a shield. Who am I now? Where do I belong?" Lily's healing. Weeks passed. Slowly, Lily began to smile again. One afternoon, while drawing, she looked up and said, "Grandma, today I want to draw my mom too." My heart swelled. It meant she still loved her mother, still carried hope. A child's heart is pure. No matter how deeply it is wounded, it still knows how to forgive. A broken bridge. But within me, the heaviness remained. The bridge between Sarah and me was shattered. The ropes of trust that bound us had snapped. I thought to myself, perhaps with time, we will find each other again. But rebuilding this bridge will not be easy. A new dawn. Morning quiet. Months passed. The air in our house shifted, our lives slowly transformed. The fear, the screaming, they no longer haunted these walls. In the mornings, Lily would run into the kitchen, her laughter bright again. "Grandma, what are we going to do today?" she asked, eyes shining. Her smile had become real once more. That smile was my sunlight. A new hope. The social workers continued their visits, checking Lily's health, her progress at school. The day they told me, "She's doing better," tears filled my eyes. Inside, I whispered, then I chose the right path. Sarah's road. I heard about Sarah too. The services had sent her to therapy and parenting classes, a condition if she wished to keep her parental rights. At first, she refused. But eventually, reluctantly, she went. A counselor told me, "Her anger hides old, unhealed wounds. She does not want to face her weakness." Those words pierced me. Sarah was once my sweet child, innocent and angelic. But life had hardened her, burying her tenderness beneath scars. Still, I prayed she would learn to be a mother again. The moment of dawn. Then one evening, the phone rang. On the line was Sarah, her voice no longer burning with fury but trembling, fragile. "Mom, can you forgive me?" Tears streamed down my face. "Sarah, I never stopped forgiving you. But you must ask forgiveness from Lily too," I said. She fell silent. But in that silence, I felt the first flicker of light enter her heart. Lily's trust. That night, Lily asked softly, "Grandma, does Mommy love me?" I kissed her forehead and whispered, "Of course she does, my darling. Sometimes people make mistakes. But love never dies. Your mother loves you too." In her eyes, I saw hope rekindle. A new dawn. Later, I sat by the window, gazing at the moon. I whispered into the night, "Today is a new dawn. We may still heal, we may still rebuild our broken bridges." I knew then, mistakes are part of life, but what matters is the courage to face them, to make them right. Lily lay asleep, her small arms wrapped around me. In her breathing, I felt the rhythm of tomorrow, the promise of hope. Epilogue. I asked myself, am I a bad person? For calling CPS on my own daughter? My heart answered, no. You were a grandmother. A protector. Sometimes there is a role even greater than motherhood, the role of shielding the innocent. The bridge between Sarah and me is still broken. But for Lily's future, we will try to rebuild it. And Lily. Each day she looks up at me with a smile and says, "Grandma, I am happy." For those words, I would endure any pain. Because truly, this is our new dawn.